questions here. I might just run through some of the specifics to make sure that we actually pick up on those questions that people have put down on the list here. Karen, how difficult is the MDPP process? Is it competitive? How long does it take to access help?
Hello. How difficult is the process? I hope we've made it as easy as we can. We have a project manager, in fact Anne is our project manager, who's sitting there on the end of her phone waiting for people to ring her. All contact details are on the website. And what happens when somebody makes contact with Anne, she'll make an arrangement to go out and see them pretty much as soon as they can set up a convenient meeting time.
Good.
What was the
Had
second
enough?
part?
How long does it take?
Again, really, as soon as we can get meetings set up. The major thing that I think we found that's delaying some of these projects starting is really just trying to get to grips with what the company wants, and in some cases they're coming to us really not knowing what they want because they don't know what we're capable of, etc. So we're spending some time with these companies exploring where we could actually go with them. But for companies who really know what they want, we can actually get the thing moving pretty quickly.
Good, thank you.
Thanks.
And the next question, I suspect, is from a researcher. It's for Trevor. If Trevor doesn't have the answer, I think I do. Question, Trevor, is there a list of local plastics companies?
Yes, there is.
Yeah. Yes, there is. Okay. So it's either you or it's Greg and his people, isn't it? Okay. Yes, we do. We have a pretty good idea of the local plastic companies, and the fact that somebody has to ask the question tells you that there is something to be done. What then needs to be done is to bring that sort of information together.
I might add that sadly the list is getting shorter every day.
Yeah. Right. Evangelist, tell us what's the difference between the Technology and Knowledge Connect and TechFast?
Well, my understanding, the program TechFast is still in existence. Its funding is no longer there as it used to be. Its focus is in seeing the actual transaction of aligning or getting researchers across to the industry that needs them. So they actually scan the whole nation to find the best researcher to align with the industry need. The Technology Knowledge Connect is simply about finding out the right path, the right connection, and getting them on that journey. So we would be at the front end of a TechFast program.
Good, thank you. And this is a question for somebody on the panel. Most SMEs in South Australia have very limited funds for R&D. How do they, and hence they do it in-house, how do we overcome this major obstacle? Actually, I might ask Gus, because I think you have an answer for an SME. How can they get the funding?
I guess, we work with small companies through to large ones, but most companies in South Australia are small. So for most universities to engage with industry involves working with small to medium companies. And certainly in engineering, there are a whole lot of different entry levels. There's entry levels with getting final year projects, which are very low cost, where there's less critical timeline, but you've got an idea you want to pursue with low cost, through to those where obviously the more strict the timelines are, the more resources that are required, then the more you need to pay towards the commercial rates. So it depends on the timelines, really. If either through starting with direct student projects or taking time to apply for government funding, or universities to apply for them in partnership. I guess the issue is the quicker the answer, the research is needed, and the more critical it is, the more expensive it becomes. If there's more timelines, less critical timelines, it becomes lower cost.
Thanks, guys. Kristen, you pass along to Kristen. Thanks. Just one comment from Kristen, then we'll move on. Thanks, Kristen.
Well, I'd just like to add, as a small business myself, I'm taking on a student for 12 weeks. It's very minimal cost to me, but I'll get a project done and a product produced that I otherwise wouldn't have got. So that's one example.
Good. I'm going to take questions from the floor in a minute, but I will just take one more perhaps. And that's Rob Short. Could you please say more about your vision for advanced manufacturing based on the material science research that you described? What kinds of companies do you see? What products, market opportunities, and where would the manufacturing actually occur?
Which bit do you want to do first, Max? I
Just
think,
very brief.
okay. I think first of all, to just go back to what I said, it's one option. I don't think it's by means the only option. What I was trying to illustrate is that it's part of a natural cycle. You will see the nature of manufacturing change, and it will continually change. And what the state actually needs to do is anticipate the future. And I think it is doing so through schemes like the Premier Science and Research Fund. The future manufacturing is probably not likely to be large scale. The days of really giant manufacturers probably is numbered. The problem, at least in developed economies, this is probably the case, because it comes down to being competitive on price, or eventually will come down to being competitive on price. So a state like South Australia that has got an excellent research base probably has a very promising future with a very large number of smaller manufacturers in a high-tech area. And that would be my vision. It's not to neglect the existing manufacturers. There are some of these can play a very important service role underpinning new manufacturing. Some of them will be agile enough to transform themselves. And some of them can benefit from the spin-offs of the fact that the universities are moving to a new place. We're still getting project students, honours students, we still have PhD students. All can play a role in engaging with existing manufacturers and helping to resolve problems that they may encounter that are perhaps a little more day-to-day.
Good, yes, thank you. And I suggest that there are other bits to the question that the questioner might take up over drinks and nibbles. Let me just pause for a moment. I've got a few more questions on notice, but let's see. Is there someone in the audience who'd like to fire a question at this point? Yes, thank you.
Hi, Stephen Morris, Chem Supply. Are there any state government or Centre for Innovation mechanisms for promotion of South Australian-owned companies to the advanced manufacturing base? In other words, marketing of services, scientific products from a local supplier to a local consumer? Or is that something you'd prefer we do ourselves?
That's a question for DTED. It's a question for Tom or Greg. What's the answer to that? Tom's going to answer it.
Yeah, yes, there is. Through the Centre for Innovation and DTED, we do facilitate introductions company to company. I will say that we are not there to be your salesman, okay? But if there is some valid reason for us to act as an intermediary, the honest broker to introduce company with a need to a company with a solution, or a researcher with a solution, we are happy to play that role. Whilst I've got the microphone,
yes, Tom,
and it's difficult to take it off me once I've got it, I just want to add to, perhaps in a little way, to answer the question that was posed of Trevor. Is there a list of plastics companies in South Australia? Yes, there is. If anyone is interested, please contact me. I'm more than happy to provide you with a list. And I will not let an opportunity to let everyone know there's an event tomorrow evening at the Morphettville Racecourse in which the plastics sector is being presented by the car industry. We've got Ford and we've got Holden presenting on their future for the green car in the plastic sector. So if anyone wants to be involved in that event, we're more than happy to have you along. Please see Stephen. Thank you.
Good, thanks, Tom.